Weekend. At least for most of this week, it's been pretty dry, which is a big change from the previous several days where we had those big downpours. It was brought home to me, though, today how lucky we are, because at one of our meetings at the Chamber of Commerce, one of the ladies who works for one of the local nonprofits is dealing directly with people who've been impacted by these floods, and a lot of people are in Splendora, Texas, and she was describing, how people have just lost everything, and how they're being put up in motels, hotels, and wherever they can actually house them. So it really brings it home to you that when you see something on television, it's one thing. When you actually start experiencing it firsthand, it's completely different. For instance, when Creative Life, as I've mentioned previously, gets involved in helping people clear their houses after a flood, it gives you a whole new view on things and how it's all sort of down to earth because of the smell and all the rest of it. I guess where I'm going with this is to ask everybody to just hold these people in mind. Even though the floods have gone for now, people are still out there suffering the effects of these floods, and some prayer would not go amiss. And if you live anywhere in this area and you're able to contribute in any way, there's lots of organizations out there, such as the Red Cross and Salvation Army and so on, who would love for you to pitch in and help them. So that's my opening. Today's reading is called Possibility and Other Surprises. I think I actually typed it out as possibilities, but there you are then. And the first quote is from a lady called Barbara Brown Taylor, and she actually is an Episcopal priest. And although she gave up active pulpit work back in the early 2000s, she retained her ordination, and she's a great writer. She's been named by Time magazine as one of the most influential people in the world. She's been named as one of the greatest writers in America in the 21st century. So she obviously is somebody worth listening to. What does she say? She says, "Earth is so thick with divine possibility that it is a wonder we can walk anywhere without cracking our shins on altars. Everything is holy." Ernest Holmes in Creative Mind and Success, it's one of his publications I don't have. I thought I had it, but I don't. I've got a whole bunch of them on the shelf behind me, or the shelves behind me there, but this one I don't have. On page 72, paragraph 3, he says, "Nothing in the universe ever stops. Everything is built on a boundless basis, drawn from a limitless source, coming from an infinite sea of unmanifested life." So in other words, everything exists in a state of possibility in the divine mind, or if you want to look at it in the quantum field, where everything exists in a state of possibility. everything that ever could be, has been, or will be. Reverend Ryan says, "I've been thinking quite a bit lately about the power of possibility as it shows up in our everyday experiences. Sometimes life hands us things we would really like to complain to customer service about, demand a refund for, or maybe exchange for a larger size. During those times, we may find it hard to see what may be just around the corner or a few steps ahead of where we currently stand. The power of possibilities lives inside each of us, even when we don't feel it. The power of possibilities gives us that itch to start a new business, that pull to talk to a stranger, or the urge to explore new places. It is the seed of possibility that gives energy and movement to our lives." Reverend Ryan goes on to say, "Wherever we are capable of rebirth and renewal. We swim in the sea of endless possibilities, although some of us may reluctantly tread water, wearing our inflatable water wings. The invitation to each of us is to just jump in, flotation devices and all, and be open to what is possible. What comes next may just surprise you, and who doesn't love a good surprise? You know, when I read this, I was really wondering what to say about it. I think metaphors are good, but sometimes, I don't know, I get a bit fed up with them, to be honest. I think it's just easier to say that when we turn our minds to the divine and we open our minds up in belief, lots of things become possible. Reverend Jesse is always telling us, and this is the first time I heard it, that belief is thought plus feeling. And if you've taken the basic course at Creative Life Spiritual Center, or anywhere else for that matter, I guess, this idea will not be new to you. And Reverend Jesse's got a diagram where he just shows it. So I think what Reverend Ryan's talking about is a combination of two things. It's starting to open up our belief system that more is possible than we have now. And more doesn't necessarily mean I want a bigger TV, I want a better car, I want a bigger house, I want this perfect idea of a companion, a mate, a partner. But it just means opening our lives to allow ourselves to grow. It includes those things, but it isn't limited to those things. And I think when people first get involved with New Thought, that they begin on the pure material level. Not everybody does, but I think most of us begin on that material level. When I first became exposed to these ideas, and it's before I got involved in New Thought in general and Science of Mind in particular, I didn't realize that these were New Thought's ideas. They were presented by a guy called Bob Proctor, and he, in essence, was preaching New Thought without calling it that. He was just approaching it from a business standpoint. And yeah, originally, all this stuff really was about material stuff. It was about growing businesses, about getting more customers, and so on and so forth, about getting a better car. But that's only the start of it. The real idea behind all this is to help ourselves to grow spiritually, to see what is possible spiritually. And it's not to say there's anything wrong with the other stuff. In fact, Holmes said there isn't. It's okay to have more of lots of things, providing it doesn't hurt us and it doesn't hurt anybody else. And I go one step beyond that and say it's okay to have all things if it helps us to grow and it helps other people to have better lives and hopefully helps them to grow as well. So that's what I get from this, that when we open ourselves up to communicating more with the divine on a regular basis, that our lives open up to lots of different possibilities. And you can see that all over it. I mentioned the prayer breakfast I went to, it's just over a week ago now, where Lauren Wilkinson had the gold medal winner had talked about when she won the Olympic gold medal for diving. And she actually won it from having been seriously injured just a few weeks earlier, and it looked like it was not possible. But her belief in herself and her opening up to possibilities opened up the possibility of her being able to not only to compete in the Olympics and to get in the Olympic team in the first place, then to compete in the Olympics, and finally to actually win a gold medal. And when I hear something like that, it tells me that the power of possibility is in all of our lives, because if she could do it with a really seriously injured leg and foot, then hey, you can win a gold medal when you're really still recovering from injury and it's really difficult to stand on the end of that diving board and you are 10 meters up in the air, which is like, 33 feet in the air, and do these perfect dives, then That tells me lots and lots of things are possible. That's what I get out of this. It's a fairly short reading. It's a fairly short commentary. And I'm not reading from the Science of Mind today. I'll do it again tomorrow. But yeah, what do you think about this reading? What are the things in your life that you would like to open up to greater possibilities? How would you like to be better in whatever area of your life? Oh, and by the way, look up this lady, Barbara Brown Taylor. She's a pretty interesting character. She's written lots of books. And one of them actually does kind of relate to this idea of bumping and cracking our shins on altars. One of the titles it isn't that exactly, but it kind of refers back to it. Look her up. And the affirmation really is just kind of summarizing all this when it says, today I'm open to what is possible. Today I'm open to what is possible. And I just close by reminding you of this. You are never, ever alone, because you cannot be alone. Ernest Holmes said it was impossible to separate ourselves from the divine because we are expressions of the divine. All that is possible is the idea of separation, because separation can never happen. It's just the idea of separation. If you're coming up to the weekend like me, have a wonderful weekend. The end of the week, it's all gone. If there's anything happened that you want to let go of, let it go. If you need prayer, treatment in that direction, or to bring something into your life, you want to let something go in your life, bring something in. Remember, that's why we have ministers and practitioners to help you do that, to help you, to pray for you if necessary. With that, I'm just going to simply say, until next time, namaste.